The world was finally breathing again. After the dust settled from the war with Thanos, cities were rebuilding. People were trying to find a new normal. It felt like a time for peace, a time for heroes to rest. But in the quiet corners of the world, a different kind of threat was growing. This wasn't an alien invader or a mad god from another realm. This enemy was born from within, from the minds of two of the most powerful mutants on Earth. It was a darkness that came from good intentions and terrible pain, a storm that no one saw coming until it was too late. The world thought the greatest danger was from the stars, but the real enemy was already here. The story begins with Professor Charles Xavier, the leader of the X-Men. He always dreamed of a world where humans and mutants could live together in peace. His oldest friend, and sometimes his greatest enemy, was Magneto. Magneto believed that mutants needed to fight for their place in the world. During a fierce battle, Professor Xavier used his incredible psychic powers to shut down Magneto's mind. He wanted to stop the fighting for good, but in that moment, something went wrong. The darkest parts of Magneto's anger, his pain, and his desire for power seeped into Xavier's own mind, merging with a hidden darkness that even the professor didn't know he had. Slowly, this new entity began to take shape within the professor's mind. It was a being of pure psychic energy, a creature made of anger and fear. It called itself Onslaught. At first, no one knew it was there. The X-Men only noticed small changes in Professor Xavier. He seemed distant, sometimes angry. His immense power felt different, more dangerous. Strange psychic waves started to ripple across the globe, causing confusion and fear. Even powerful telepaths couldn't understand what was happening. It was a quiet warning, a whisper before the scream. This new threat was unlike anything the heroes had faced before. It wasn't just a physical enemy, it was a mental one. S.H.I.E.L.D., the global peacekeeping agency, detected strange energy readings that they couldn't explain. Their best scientists were baffled. The alerts went out to the Avengers and the Fantastic Four. Something big was on the horizon. The heroes began to investigate, but they were looking for a person or a machine. They had no idea that the threat was growing inside one of their most trusted allies. The world was completely unprepared for the monster that was about to be unleashed from the mind of a hero. The quiet warning soon turned into a terrifying reality. Onslaught was no longer content to hide in the shadows of Professor Xavier's mind. It wanted a body. It wanted power. The creature burst forth, revealing itself as a massive armored being of pure psionic energy. Its power was immense, far greater than Xavier's or Magneto's alone. Onslaught was a nightmare come to life, and its first act was to show the world its strength. It tossed the Juggernaut, a nearly unstoppable force, across the country with ease. This single act sent a clear message to every hero on the planet. A new power had arrived, and it was here to conquer. Onslaught's abilities were terrifying. It could control minds, manipulate energy, and warp reality itself. One of its most devastating powers was control over the Sentinels, the giant mutant-hunting robots that the X-Men had fought for years. Onslaught turned these machines into its personal army, unleashing them on New York City. The city became a war zone, with heroes scrambling to protect innocent people from the chaos. But Onslaught had a bigger plan. It knew it needed even more power to achieve its goal of creating a new world, and it set its sights on the most powerful child on Earth, Franklin Richards, the son of Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. The kidnapping of Franklin Richards was a turning point. The Fantastic Four fought desperately to protect their son, but Onslaught was too powerful. It captured Franklin and his psychic protector Nate Gray, planning to use their incredible abilities to become a god. With their power added to its own, Onslaught began to reshape reality, its influence spreading like a virus across the city. The sky turned dark, and a massive citadel grew from the ground in Central Park. This was Onslaught's throne, the center of its new kingdom of fear. The world's heroes knew this was more than just another battle. It was a fight for their very existence. The call went out. The X-Men, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and every available hero gathered to face this ultimate threat. They knew the odds were against them. Onslaught was a psychic monster with an army of sentinels and the reality-warping power of a young god. The heroes had to put aside their differences and unite as one. They prepared for an assault on Onslaught's fortress in Central Park, knowing that this could be their last fight. The fate of the entire world rested on their shoulders as they charged into the heart of the storm, ready to face a power that seemed truly unbeatable. The battle in Central Park was epic. Heroes from every corner of the Marvel Universe converged on Onslaught's towering fortress. Captain America led the charge, his shield a symbol of hope against the overwhelming darkness. Iron Man's repulsor blasts lit up the sky while Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, clashed against Onslaught's psionic armor. The X-Men fought with a special desperation, battling the twisted version of their beloved mentor. Wolverine's claws slashed at robotic sentinels as Storm summoned lightning from the blackened sky. Every hero gave everything they had, pushing their powers to the absolute limit in a desperate attempt to break through Onslaught's defenses. But Onslaught was more than just a physical being. After a ferocious assault, the Hulk, enraged beyond measure, managed to shatter Onslaught's physical armor. For a moment, it seemed like a victory, but the hero's celebration was short-lived. The destruction of its body only released Onslaught's true form, a being of pure, malevolent psychic energy. This form was even more dangerous. It was a poison that could not be punched or blasted. It threatened to spread across the globe and consume the consciousness of every living being. The heroes had broken its shell, but they had unleashed a plague upon the world. The heroes were at a loss. How could they fight an enemy made of pure energy? Reed Richards, the brilliant leader of the Fantastic Four, quickly devised a desperate plan. He realized that Onslaught's energy could be absorbed, but it would take beings with a specific genetic makeup to contain it. The mutants, like the X-Men, could not do it. Their presence would only feed the monster. It had to be the non-mutant heroes. The Avengers and the Fantastic Four would have to act as human sponges, drawing the psychic energy into themselves to give the X-Men a chance to deliver the final blow. It was a plan that required the ultimate sacrifice. Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, the Fantastic Four, and many other brave heroes knew what they had to do. They understood that absorbing Onslaught's energy would likely destroy them. Without hesitation, they charged into the inferno of raw power. One by one, they flew into the heart of the energy storm, their bodies acting as living containers for the overwhelming evil. They were embracing certain death to save the world, to save their friends, and to give humanity a future. It was a moment of incredible bravery and heartbreaking loss. With the non-mutant heroes containing the energy, the X-Men launched their final, desperate attack. Jean Grey used her telepathy to hold back the portion of Professor Xavier's mind still trapped within the monster, while the rest of the team unleashed a combined blast of their powers. The resulting explosion was immense, a blinding flash of light that consumed Onslaught completely. When the light faded, the monster was gone, but so were the heroes who had sacrificed themselves. The Avengers and the Fantastic Four had vanished, seemingly destroyed in the blast. The world was saved, but the cost was staggering. In the aftermath, the world was left in shock. The heroes who had saved the planet so many times were gone. The public, not understanding the sacrifice, blamed the X-Men and all mutants for the disaster. Anti-mutant hysteria reached an all-time high. The X-Men were no longer just feared, they were hated. They were left alone to protect a world that now saw them as monsters. Professor Xavier, racked with guilt over the darkness that came from him, lost his powers and turned himself over to the authorities. The dream of peaceful coexistence between humans and mutants seemed more distant than ever before. But the story was not over. Unbeknownst to everyone on Earth, the fallen heroes were not dead. Their sacrifice had transported them to a new dimension, a pocket universe created by the immense power of Franklin Richards. In this new world, they were reborn with no memory of their past lives. They had new origins, new stories, completely unaware of the world they had saved. They were alive but lost, living out new adventures in a reality separate from their own. Their journey was just beginning, and they would one day have to find their way back home. And as one threat ended, the seeds of another were planted. In a dark, hidden castle in Latveria, the villainous Dr. Doom watched the events unfold on his monitors. He saw the world in chaos, its greatest heroes gone, and its defenses weakened. A slow, sinister smile spread across his face. He saw not a tragedy, but an opportunity. With the Avengers and Fantastic Four out of the way, the path was clear for him to finally achieve his goal of world domination. The world was saved from Onslaught, but a new, more calculated evil was waiting in the wings, ready to strike. The fight was far from over.